It's a global crisis. According to the United Nations, 1 out of every 9 people suffer from hunger. People in 45 countries don't have access to enough food on a daily basis. How is that possible? Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. The numbers are staggering. Nearly 800 million people go to bed on an empty stomach each night. 1 in 3 suffer from malnutrition. The consequences go beyond poor health, pain and suffering. Emotional and intellectual development are also affected. There are a myriad reasons why. Poverty, food shortages, war and conflict, waste and climate change among them. So as we approach World Hunger Day this Sunday, we take a look at one of civilization's greatest challenges. And we begin with CGTN's Daniel Ranges.
Farmer Aping Riang is heading north with his pregnant wife and 5 children, a grueling 2-week journey from South Sudan to Darfur in neighbouring Sudan. 3.4 Sudanese have fled drought and conflict. Betty Takalb walked north into Uganda from her home in Yei, South Sudan, where armed groups are accused of rape, burning down villages and killing both civilians and aid workers.
There's nothing to eat. Everyone is panicking. At night, you can't sleep because of the fighting. It's very difficult.
In poverty-stricken northeastern Nigeria, Baba Gana Mai Abba is dealing with a drought exacerbated by the extremist fighters of Boko Haram.
Boko Haram chased me from my home here, and I fled to a nearby village. When I came back, I found they had burned my house with everything in it.
He's now relying on the UN's World Food Programme to keep his children alive. The United Nations is tracking famine conditions in 4 countries: Yemen, Somalia, Nigeria and South Sudan.
We are facing the largest humanitarian crisis since the creation of the United Nations. Now, more than 20 million people across 4 countries face starvation and famine. Without collective and coordinated global efforts, people will simply starve to death.
In some parts of Somalia, the rivers have run dry after 3 consecutive failed rainy seasons, devastating livestock and crops. Experts attribute such unusual weather patterns across Africa in recent years to the impacts of climate change. Anab Mohammed Abdullahi is pregnant. She's walked 6 days, over 200 kilometers. Her husband stayed behind.
I had 4 children. 2 died on the journey here and 2 are sick. I'm 8 months pregnant. I don't have shoes. I don't have water or food. I don't have anything.
The US Senate recently secured an extra $1 billion to help provide relief. And now President Trump has announced a further $300 million. Yet, the 2018 financial year begins this October. President Trump is proposing that the budget for international food aid be cut to 0.
Well, providing 0 assistance for international food assistance literally means that people will die. Every year, the U.S. provides something like 40 million people around the world with food assistance. That's life-saving aid, mostly women and children who get assistance from the U.S. to survive.
The U.S. Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue is indicating that such aid will continue, saying his department's new motto is "Do right and feed everyone." Oxfam is trying to get policymakers to switch focus from the latest White House intrigue to the fact that despite an abundant global food supply, we're facing the worst humanitarian crisis since the Second World War. The US Congress is ultimately responsible for deciding spending priorities and has the power to ensure that the United States remains one of the world's leading humanitarian donors. And the power to prevent more mothers and fathers from watching helplessly as their children's lives hang in the balance. Daniel Ranches, CGTN, Washington.